Hey everybody, Alvinator here with Mulligans and Hackers, and today on the pod, we've got Shawn Lavoie, brand new 31st president of the PGA of Alberta, correct?
Correct.
Well, pal, I really
Lavoie.
appreciate
You went with Lavoie.
it. I went with, okay, I went with Lavoie.
I like it. I like it. That's good.
Awesome. Um, Thanks, pal, for giving me some of your time. I really
Go for it.
appreciate it. You taking some time to chat with me here about this. So, Brand, so you've had a couple of days now to think about your position as president of the PGA of Alberta, right? Was it Monday?
Yeah, it happened. Well, Monday it happened. Like I'm officially the president, I suppose. But I've had, I want to say 14 years to think about it because how long I've been involved with the board of directors with our PGA.
Okay, so
And
give us a little bit about what does what does the PGA of Alberta? Who do you represent? How is the organization built, and who's it built around?
well, the PGA of Alberta is really a member-based organization, and we service and support the needs of what are we, 550 golf professionals in four corners of in every corner of Alberta. So, we offer all kinds of programming for PGA members, everything from education through, seminars and we run tournaments. We have events, but ultimately we're a like-minded group that talk golf a lot and support each other and talk about. We kind of run the business of golf, I suppose, in the province, and that's everybody like loves the game, and but I want to say we're a diverse group. Like we have people that specialize in teaching and coaching. We have assistant golf professionals, associate golf professionals, head golf professionals, general managers. We have people that are affiliate members that work outside of a golf course that still participate in industry events, things of that nature. So we're a big organization. I want to say we're um, a strong association in terms of provinces amongst in terms of Canada. We have a lot of members, and ultimately we're all PGA of Canada members. And like what happens out east in our national office, we do our best to try and mirror what's happening nationally, and we work with everybody who works at the national office just to ensure we're all pulling the rope the same direction, right? So there's a lot going on, but I've been involved a long time, and if I'm being honest, I never really wanted to be president. Being the president sort of means you're kind of on your way out, and I hung around a long time and kept getting elected, which is really nice, and I just love being involved. And what that really means is like we get together 4 or 5 times a year, and I get to spend time with the leaders of golf in the province. And you know what, for me, like selfishly, it's always a good learning experience, and getting to ask questions to guys who run different facilities or have different roles in the industry and have a good understanding of what they do and why they do it and what their challenges are. And it's a bit of a brotherhood, or things of that nature. We support each other, and yeah, it's good.
So, if you're a PGA of Alberta member, you're also a member of PGA of Canada,
Yes,
and
absolutely. So like I would say, like, the way it kind of works is we're PGA Canada members, and then there's zones across, and every province has a zone, right? So, and the PGA of America has sections, and their sections are kind of broken down by state. to a certain degree, right? So our PGA is one of the oldest in the world, and a strong group. I don't know what our numbers are across the country. It's a big number, but it's you know, golf is very strong in Canada, and we get a pretty passionate group, and golf's in a good place.
Yeah, I agree. Just talking about golf at we'll say the PGA of Canada level. Um, give us a little bit of insight into what, say, if somebody was going for their PGA of Canada um, like card or accreditation, what type of process is that? And I mean, truly, is it something you have to really start from a young age to know that maybe that's something you're going to get into, or you know, is it something where you're trying to become a, we'll say a a pro golfer or an amateur golfer, and if that doesn't work out, then you move into that type of area, or is it all kind of depending on what you want in the golf game? How does that whole lineage work
I
its way
want
out?
I want to say it's changed a lot over the years. Like when I became a PGA professional, there were a number of different steps, and playing in a tournament was part of the criteria and shooting a certain number. Since that time, it has changed quite a bit, and it's evolving. Like you could become a golf professional at any stage of your life. We do have playing ability tests, and those numbers tend to change a little bit based on a number of factors. But ultimately, like we are, I would say it isn't as difficult as it used to be to become a golf professional. Like when I became a golf professional, we had to shoot 152 over 2 rounds. And if you didn't shoot that number, it was try again next year. And it is not like that now. Like it was, I remember being pretty nervous trying to get my card back then. And it was daunting. It was daunting. But now, the numbers are higher. It's based on the club you're playing and the course rating, and there's a bit of math that goes into it. So, you know, it's easier certainly to become a golf professional, but there's a number of things that are underway right now to attract more people to our business because the business has changed. We're not in a position where you become a golf pro, you work in a golf shop, and you do the same job at every property all over Canada. Like there are golf professionals that do nothing but teach, coach, train. Like
I
that's
was going to
that's a
ask you, like,
complete.
when for the people that are listening, like, when you say you're a golf professional, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a pro golfer and you're out there on tour making money. So when you talk
Oh
about
no,
being a golf professional, um,
there's a huge difference between a professional golfer and a golf professional.
right? So
Huge
you
difference.
were just starting on it, on getting into it with. So what are the roles that golf professionals play in, we'll say, like, golf across Alberta, say in the four corners of Alberta? We have, you said, around 550 some golf professionals in Alberta. It, get a little more in depth into the roles that these golf professionals play. I mean, if you're a member at a course, obviously you're a golf professional at your home course. But what else do they get involved in?
Well, it's everything that happens at that facility. Like golf professionals, like I said, coach, train, teach, run a retail operation, run a team of people, run the first tee, marshal, pace of play, police. Then you work your way up into, there's golf professionals that are running food, running the operation, managing the operation. So golf professionals, honestly, like depends on the facility you're at, but the roles can be pretty pretty varied and pretty vast. Like we don't just simply play golf. Like I wish it was like that. It's not like that. Like golf professionals, like if you want to be a good golf professional, playing golf is probably the last thing you're going to be doing, or one of the last things you're going to be doing. Like there's certain roles where you can play more than other jobs, but I think every most of us get into it because we love the game and we want to play and we like to play. but once you're in it, you could end up spending most of your time teaching, fitting, in the shops, selling merchandise, talking to members, some of the other facilities you end up running food and, spending time in the lounge, and like it's a bit all over the map for golf professionals, depending on the facility, right? So, we have lots of different diverse roles in the business.
So for you now, obviously you've been involved in the PGA of Alberta for, like you said, a long time. Um, Assuming the role of president now, how does that change from the role you had for the first 14 years, we'll say, to what your role is now in the whole thing?
Well, the role on the PGA board, like since I've been involved, hasn't really been my day-to-day role in the golf industry. Like I've worked a lot in general management, and that's kind of been my focus for a long time. But now, like I've since I've been on the board, I've really been involved in all the portfolios, and those portfolios are everything from, the tournament portfolio, education, um, finance, golf shows. The Alberta PGA runs a golf consumer show in the spring for the general public. And then we have a fall show that's for our members. But there's a lot of different parts within our PGA, and being part of those different portfolios, it's all focused on our membership and what we can do to enhance the lives of PGA members, right? So I've been involved in all those things, and now that I'm president, my role changes slightly. I work with all the portfolios and all the chairs on our board to um, work through, I guess, the goals and um, terms of reference for their committee to ensure that we achieve what we're setting out to achieve, which is, putting on great tournaments for our membership, which are the golf professionals in Alberta. And education is a huge piece, huge piece, making sure we're offering good educational opportunities for people to learn. Tournaments for the golf pros.
So what type of
And
tournaments do you run? Do you run throughout uh, the season in
so
Alberta?
so we have, I don't know the exact number of events we run, but it's a big number, and we'll run, you know, 1 day events in the north part of the province and in the south. And then we'll run, I'll call them majors, where we have 2 day events, and it might be for the assistant professionals. We'll do the same thing for the head pros, things of that nature. Then we'll do some team events where we do like a pro scramble, things that are a bit more fun. But it's a full calendar of events, and it's for the PGA of Alberta members to, I would say, compete. I would also say there's a large population that likes to go to those events to network, to spend time with like-minded professionals and talk about the business of golf. And they're popular. And you're certainly not going to get rich playing these events, but a little bit of money, and you know, the professionals go and they have a good time. And in most of the events, we also have ladies events. We have some senior events, but we try to look after. We have a diverse group as PG of Alberta members. We try and make sure that we're hitting everybody and looking after the whole group, right? So
Does the PGA of Canada do like national tournaments that say PGA players in Alberta would play other people like Ontario, Manitoba?
yeah, there is national events that happen throughout the golf season and deep into the fall as well. So they put on great events. They're fun, but ultimately, like we have a lot of really strong players in our zone, but there's great players across the country, and we showcase those events, and you can see a lot of really good golf and they're fun. Like I've played in a few of those things, and I don't play all the time or every year. I'm not. I certainly don't show up expecting to win, but it's nice to meet guys from around the country and share ideas and talk about the business of golf and get out of town for a hot minute and play in a cool event and at a nice venue, and it's fun. It really is.
So let's go and give us a little bit, you know, tell us a little bit about the education part that you offer. What is it? Course based? Is it like do you go to a classroom to study stuff? Give us a little bit on the education part of what you offer your members.
Well, at our spring seminar, which just took place over the last couple of days, like we try and provide programming that sort of hits on the broad range of members that we have. So we'll bring in a prominent teacher, that someone that you would know on TV, or a name that you've heard of. We'll bring in somebody more on the business side of golf that can talk about AI, or a new technology that's coming down the pipe. We'll bring in somebody who's a mental coach, talk about the mental side of golf. We'll bring in, you know, talk to, somebody who's talking about um, something completely different in golf that we haven't heard of. So we try and cover all the topics, right? So it is kind of fun to hear a different perspective from different people. And generally, these people are professionals that we bring in from, I would say, that around North America. So we work on our education seminar for, I would say, a year in advance, and get a lineup of speakers, and then our members come out and they come up to Edmonton. It's typically in Edmonton, in conjunction with our annual meeting, and everyone will come up there and spend a couple of days learning about everything kind of golf, right?
That's cool. So we're here in Alberta. So give us a little bit of your take on where golf is in Alberta. I know I'm relatively, I say it again, I'm relatively new to the sport here in southern Alberta. Played a little bit in
Yeah.
central Alberta. Um, you know, I think golf in Alberta is well represented. It's I might be a little biased, but I think it's one of the best places to play golf. Um, probably because of the sunshine and the weather in Canada. But yeah, give us a little bit of an idea of what golf from north to south in Alberta is like in the last half a dozen years.
Well, I would say that, like, and I can't speak for facilities outside of the one I'm aware of, but like, I think since COVID, golf has really taken off. Like, COVID was probably the best. Like, I hate to say it like that because COVID really hurt people in a lot of ways, but golf has really thrived, and I would say everybody's in good shape. And again, I don't want to speak for every golf course, but generally speaking, I think there's a lot of clubs that have done pretty well in the last number of years. And I think, the key is to keep people playing. I think golf is competing with a number of other fun activities that are cheaper. I think we are kind of, you know, challenged in the fact that we're gonna have to do everything we can to keep people going.
That's
And
what
we had an opportunity to get everyone in the household playing. And I think that happened because it was, the only safe thing you could do during COVID.
that's kind of why
And
we
that
started.
led
Yep,
to, well, that led to more memberships and, busy tee sheets and people scrambling. And like, it was chaos for golf course operators for, I want to say, probably 3 or 4 years. And I think it's still kind of that way to a certain degree. Like, there's tee sheets are bursting at the seams still. But we as leaders and ambassadors of the game of golf, as PGA members, we really need to keep our eye on it and keep people engaged and focused on playing golf and make sure it's fun and engaging for everyone in the house, whether they're 5 years old or 80 years old, and that's really the challenge is making sure that we're doing that and that our teams are doing that and that experience, the experience that you get when you show up at a property is what you want
Hmm.
and that you deserve
We have a
as a
set of
paying
rules.
customer.
When we started this, we started building a set of rules, and you know, rule number one was golf is hard. Rule number two is golf is expensive, right? And you can get really bogged down in the minutia of paying for your green fees and paying for equipment, and like we were just talking about before we even started this, paying for lessons and getting into that part of it, wanting to build your game. Golf is a really expensive sport. I look at hockey, and how hockey was expensive when I was kind of involved in it with kids and stuff. Like golf is really expensive as well.
Totally, totally. Golf is I don't want to go down the road of saying it's too expensive, but it is for a lot of people. It
Yeah,
it is and it can be, and I think we, you know, as an industry, and this goes beyond the PGA of Alberta,
for sure.
everybody as a whole needs to look at how expensive the sport is. Like you look at something like pickleball, right? Like there's a there's a pickleball court across the street from my house. There's a line up there all day long of people wanting to play it, and obviously it's free. And I'm not saying golf needs to be free, but we need to take a hard look at what we're charging to play golf. Like I'm in Calgary, and like green fees are, but it's supply and demand. Like,
Yep, 100%. I mean,
as a golf course operator, which I've done most of my life, like those numbers are based on, what people are going to pay. And, I totally get the business side of it, but if we're going to keep attracting people and be sustainable, 50, 100 years from now, is, $150 green fee, is that reasonable? Right?
yeah, it is. There is no right answer to that whole thing. Um, you know, I love it. So yes, I will say I will put a cap on what I would pay to go and play somewhere, unless it was some special place like like we were talking about St. Andrews or something like that. That's what do you need me to write on this open check type thing to go play there? But um, it really you really have to look at it like where people are. Um, you have the weekend warriors who will play 2 or 3 weekends a year because this isn't their thing. That they travel or they have other things they do. You're not really gonna bring those people to the golf course. We'll say 100% of the time. You're just gonna have to offer golf to them when they want it. But for somebody like me who's you know both feet both feet into golf, um, I look at what it costs me in a year to do what I want to do, and yeah, it can get a little sketchy about picking and choosing where you're going. We were talking earlier about playing more events on the AGT. Well, it's not just the registration fee that somebody like me is paying. I'm going to travel to Calgary. I'm going to get a hotel in Calgary. You're going to have to eat for at least a day, and if it's a major, it's two, right? Now you have to pick and choose. You can't do them all. You have to pick and choose what you're going to do. So you pick the select events that you want to play, and you can't participate. We'll say 100% in what you want. I can't play every event because again, granted, I work, but there's a cost associated with that whole travel, play, and what you want. We talked about experience. What experience you want to get out of it because it's gonna cost you.
Well, it's disposable income, right?
Yep.
So, like in Calgary, like golf, like it's a bit different. Like, I have a lot of colleagues that work in Edmonton, Saskatchewan, like the markets are so different. And I find that in Calgary, like we're an hour, we're just far enough away from the mountains. Like it's kind of like an hour or whatever, unless you
Hmm.
live way over on the west side. But there's no big lake that's close enough. So the recreational buck, golf gets a lot of it. And I think that's why Calgary is what it is in terms of golf. Like, and people are nuts about it in this town, like nuts. And with the weather we're having, like people are chomping at the bit to get out there. But I really think that golf is COVID did a lot of good for golf. Brought new people into the game. The key is to keep them in the game, and it's up to us as leaders and ambassadors for golf, as PGA members, to make sure that our teams are focused and engaged in doing that. Otherwise, we're going to lose people to pickleball and hiking and riding bikes and all kinds of other activities, which are great, but of course they're not golf, right? So
I look at for myself where I am in my life and how I got into this game, and people who follow the pod, they know what what got me into this and what you know coming out the other end of it. For me, it's such a I look forward to it so much. It's such a mental part of my life now to be involved in golf and play golf and look forward to golf, like you were just saying. Um, golf, it's just you and I mean, we can get away from talking about the cost of golf and all that type of shit because that's something you're just going to have to navigate as we go on. But the game itself and what somebody getting into the sport like we did a few years ago, and the growth in the game, it's just you and the golf ball and the golf course and what you want to put into it. And that part of golf, I've played a lot of sports, I've done a lot of coaching, and what golf offers me, because again, we talked about playing like on the Alberta Golf Tour, that little bit of competition, what we do ourselves amongst our buddies, playing for our grown up kids trophies and stuff like that. You're competing against yourself, and what you want to put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And we were talking before about what my next step, the incremental growth in my game is, but golf can offer you that so much growth as a person. I mean, I'm on here. I'm not really, this is so outside of my comfort zone. And here I am talking to you, the president of the PGA of Alberta. Golf did this. I said to you before, I started going to the gym, a couple months ago. Golf did that, right? Golf has opened up so many personal doors for me. And I think if we focus on that more than what we were just talking about, I think we can keep people in it and allow people to grow personally, mentally, professionally in the game as well, right? I mean, it's just you and the golf course. I don't mind going to if nothing's happening, we've played our round or whatever, and you come home and you know, okay, family goes out and just go back to the golf course and get on the putting green. 45 minutes an
totally.
hour, like it's
Yeah.
such a that part of the game of what that game is just so time consuming. Like you can just wrap yourself up into it. Driving range
Oh,
session.
sure.
We few times there last year it was 18 in the morning. You come home, have lunch, and it's like nobody's home. They're all gone doing their thing. Well, it's like, Chris, are we going back to the golf course? Yeah, let's go. We'll go do 9, and if we get 9 in, great. If we can get 18 in, we'll get another 18, right? But
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what
good
golf
for
is
you.
for the people that are getting into the game. We'll say like us and the weekend warriors. That's what the game offers us, and I think if we promote that a little more of what you can be, if you're like, again, I'm a member, so I go play and just show up, and if there's a tee time available, take it. I think that's what the game offers, and you can get that little bit of competition if you want it in the game through tournament play, like AGT or scrambles, fun type stuff, four ball, and you know, I think that's where the game should be talked about, I guess, more. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Like I think there's a huge opportunity to continue to grow the sport. And I think, you know, things like AGT, like it's such a great tour. And I think we need to do more promotion of tours like that. The MGT tour, which is for juniors, like I think those programs are magnificent. And, we need people to know that they exist so that they can participate, right?
Because again,
So
when you talk about something like the PGA of Alberta, you know, weekend warriors and you know these mid type handicappers like we are, we're like, well, we're out of that. We're not involved in that. That's so far beyond the pale of what we do that we're not interested in that. But there are avenues like AGT for people like me, 50 plus, to go and get a little bit of competition and put your skills up against somebody else. And it is kind of funny how we try and talk to people down here about it, and they have no idea, right? But
totally, they don't know. But
I,
Alberta Golf puts on a number of great events as well. And, like if you actually just get online and do a little bit of homework, like there's events all over the place. But you have to be motivated, I suppose, to do that. And I think golf professionals play a bit of a role in that. I think we need to be promoting some of that as well. Like, just hanging out at your same club every weekend is fine to play, but like growing the game, playing the game, competing, like that's all part and parcel to a healthy, thriving sport. And, I think we play a bit of a role in that and teaching people and encouraging people to get better and getting out there and putting their name out there and going to a tournament. Like those are all good things. They're
yeah,
good things for the sport.
I think so as well. Like, I wanted that. We started our own Mulligans and Hackers tour when we started because we wanted to compete against our pals. And then a couple of years later, it's like, well, okay, where do we go? What's the next level of competing? We play scrambles and we go to we traveled a little bit to do some scrambles around with crews and like a bunch of our buddies and stuff. And it's like, okay, that's fun. Now where do we go now? Like, what's next, right? And now we've done the AGT, and it's like, okay, this will be our first, we'll say, full season on the AGT this year. And then in a couple of years, what do we do next, right? Like, that's where we are, and I guess that's because we're motivated because we want to be involved in the sport as much as we can and do as much as we can. But even those people that just want that little bit of an experience, we were talking about experiences of going and playing in a tournament, right? Maybe you've played golf your entire life, or you've been playing golf for 10 years and you've never played in a tournament. Man, it's a great experience, and I think more people doing something like that is definitely a benefit for the game.
Yeah, well, there's tournaments all over the place. Like if you go to a public golf course and look at their bulletin board, like there's going to be tournaments available all over the province, right? And some people love that stuff and other people don't like to compete. But going to events and experiencing a different facility and like it's fun. It's fun. I did a lot of that when I was younger, especially in my junior days and around Saskatchewan. And that's really what got me into the business of golf and wanting to play golf and learn about golf and teach golf. And, I'm a bit too golf centric, but that's what really got me going is all those, small towns and tournaments and getting out there and playing and competing and, learning something about a new facility. And, it was cool. And there's some of the best memories I have is of when I was young playing around and traveling around with my pals. And yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Really a lot of fun, right? So
Again, even in the short time we've been doing it, traveling with our pals, you know, going to doing little day trips to little hidden gems around southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, southern BC. Just do a day trip with 8,
yeah,
12 guys. Just roll up on you know, a little community golf course, 9-hole thing, and just go play 18 holes. That can't be beat. That is something that we take very I take very dearly that we do that with our pals. We didn't do it last year because again, the next step is going and playing other golf tournaments, right? But so PGA of Alberta golf season is right around the corner. We were talking about a couple of golf courses that have already opened. What do you guys got coming up? In the spring here. Anything coming up soon? What's going on during the summer? Like, give us a little bit of a heads up.
Like
What's going on?
for the PGA.
Yeah, PGA of Alberta. Yeah.
Well, I would say, like I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but like we have a calendar of events, of tournaments around the province. If you're interested in checking that out, like you go on the PGA of Alberta website and check out where our events are. Look at draws, look at results. If you actually want to get out there and see our guys play, like there's a lot of tremendous players. So that's coming up. I don't know when the first event is. I actually haven't looked at the tournament calendar. I'm not exactly a tournament player. I'm more on the business side of things, but we'll see. This year I might play a few events, get my game in order and see if I can't get out there. But that's now that we're through our AGM, everyone's going to be firing up for spring here. I think that's probably the focus of most Alberta PGA members is getting their golf facilities or ranges open and getting things going for their customers, whether it be members or the general public. Like that's kind of what everyone's going to be doing here in the next number of weeks and getting pro shops open and things of that nature, right? So,
We're kind of
but
chomping at the bit here now. We've had some
well, for sure,
we've
for
had some
sure,
decent weather in the southern part of the province, down here in the Forgotten Corner. So yeah, the itch is there definitely.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
But anyways,
I'm getting
Shawn,
it too.
yeah, I bet you are. The
Yeah,
the first tee shot of the season is always way better than the first simulator tee shot of the winter. I'll give you
yeah,
that.
you're damn right. Yeah,
Anyway, Shawn, buddy, I really appreciate you giving us some of your time here and talking about
sure.
your position and what the PGA of Alberta is all about. It has been a blast. Stay in touch. We'll
Yeah,
see what's going on in the summer, and maybe we'll do this again sometime.
sounds good. Good to meet you, Alvin.
Yeah,
Take
good
it
to meet you
easy.
too, pal. Thank you.